Hi there, I'm Marci Chavalas and it's story time. I'm so excited to read this book with you from the Ordinary People Change the World series. It's I Am Frida Kahlo by Brad Meltzer. I like this book because it's all about a very famous female artist. So if you like art or you're interested in learning more about Frida's life, this is the book for you. I wonder why she's got that monkey there. Maybe if we read, we can find out. If you're an AR reader, this is an AR book, quiz number 514747. It is level 3.5 and worth half a point. Let's flip the book over and learn a little bit more. I am Frida Kahlo. I know that the most beautiful thing is you, just as you are. Well, I can't wait to read about beautiful things like the art that Frida makes and how we're the most beautiful things. All right, let's grow. I am Frida Kahlo. Oh, look at those cool roses on her head. And hey, I noticed that there's animals around her often. I wonder why. I was born in Mexico in this house. Later, we painted it blue and called it La Casa Azul, the blue house. It stood out from everything else. Isn't that beautiful? When I was 6 years old, I got a disease called polio. It made my right leg thinner and shorter than my left leg. My leg hurts. I know, mamita. I had to stay in my room for 9 months. When I finally got out, kids would make fun of me. Pata de palo, peg leg. Look at peg leg. Oh no. Look at her face. She looks scared, embarrassed, sad. Should she be feeling like this because she got sick? Absolutely not. Is it kind for them to laugh at her because she's different? No, that is completely unacceptable. We should do things that make others feel welcome and safe, and she is definitely not feeling welcome and safe at all. I tried hiding my leg under long skirts or by wearing extra socks. It didn't help. Oh, that makes me feel sad for her and sad that this ever happened to her. That's not how I want people to be treated, and I hope that that's not how she continues to be treated. Thankfully, I always had a special place where I could escape. In my room, I'd breathe onto the window pane and draw a door. That door let me into my imagination. Ooh. There, I would visit a dairy called Pinzon. I entered through the O. It would take me down inside the earth, where my imaginary friend was always waiting for me. I don't remember what she looked like, or even what color she was, but together we would laugh and dance. I'd tell her all my problems. She would listen. Now, I love that she's using her imagination. It's fun to imagine things, isn't it? That place made me happy. And when I'd blur the door with my hand, it would disappear. It's amazing what you can do with your imagination. To strengthen my leg, my dad encouraged me to play sports. Soccer, wrestling, boxing, swimming, I did it all. Great, you got it. Back then, these were considered boy sports, but not to me. One of the best things my dad shared with me was his curiosity about the world. As a photographer, he'd take me along when he went to shoot photos. Okay, plants, say cheese! He also liked to paint. While he did his watercolors, I'd count pebbles, plants, and even insects. I'd bring them home, looking up each item in my dad's books and examining them under a microscope. Is that a real bug? Isn't it beautiful? Look around. Beauty is everywhere. Now, as I'm reading, I notice they keep bringing up the word beauty. Beauty is everywhere. He's imagining things. Let's see, where else did it mention beauty? I saw it earlier. Isn't that beautiful, her house? So she's finding beauty everywhere. And in the back of the book, we said, the most beautiful thing is you, just as you are. I wonder if this book's going to talk more about beauty, because they've mentioned it a few times. Look for those patterns when you're reading too. At 14, I went to the National Preparatory School, the best high school in Mexico. One of 2,000 students, I was one of only 35 girls. At school, we were supposed to dress and behave a certain way. I dressed differently. The wealthy mothers would take one look at me and yell, "Que niña fea! What an ugly girl! She certainly doesn't look like anyone else. I think it's kind of cool." To other students, I was fascinating. Now, is she behaving the way those kids earlier were behaving in her life? Let's go back here. Yes, sometimes kids can make really poor choices and be unkind, and adults can be unkind too. I'm so glad she's choosing not to give any energy to those nasty and unkind behaviors. We can't let those things in. I like how she said to other students, I was fascinating. So she's choosing to think about the positive things and drown out the voices of people who are acting very ugly. My closest friends were a group of kids called the cachuchas, which is like a hot pepper. We were smart and loved to read, but sometimes we got in trouble, like when we rode a real donkey down the hallway. Can you imagine this? Would you go to school and someone's riding a donkey in the hallway? That is crazy. And I know if that happened at my school, somebody would be getting in trouble. Frida, are you sure this is a good idea? Pretty sure. Oh no. One day, a famous painter named Diego Rivera was hired to create a mural in our auditorium. I watched him for 3 hours. Soon we would change each other's lives. I didn't know it at the time, but my hardest days were coming. Uh-oh. I wonder what's going to be hard. She's already gone through some hard things like people making fun of her and treating her poorly. We all go through hard things sometime or other. I wonder what other hard things she's going to have to go through. We're going to read to find out more. Oh no! At 18, I was in a terrible accident when a trolley smashed into the bus I was riding. How horrifying. Ay, Dios mío, it's horrible. Someone on the bus had been carrying paint, so my body was covered in powdered gold. She's really hurt. Oh no, how terrifying. A month after the accident, I came home from the hospital in a full body cast. My spinal column was broken in 3 places. The doctors literally had to put me back together. The pain in my leg and foot was terrible, and I could barely move my arms. But I survived. I didn't get many visitors. It made me realize that I wanted to be friends only with people who like me just the way I am. I knew my life had changed. I would no longer be a doctor. Instead, as I learned to lie still, I began to paint. I wonder what things she'll paint. Since I couldn't sit up in bed, my mom asked a carpenter to make a special easel for me. I grabbed my father's brushes, and I began. I worked hard poring over books about art history. My first paintings weren't great. I even tore one up because I was so unhappy with it. But with my mirror, I kept going, painting what I saw. I paint myself because I'm so often alone, and because I'm the subject I know best. Who's she painting? Her best subject. Wow, I see a determined look on her face, where she's wanting to express what she's seeing and imagining, even though she is healing from the accident. It looks like that's bringing her joy. As soon as I could go outside, I brought my paintings to Diego Rivera, a famous painter I had met years earlier. What do you think? The other 3 are okay. This portrait of you is the most original. You have talent. Over time, my portraits became more complex. I began adding pieces of local Mexican art and history, textiles and intricate carvings to show people who I was. This is wonderful. Thank you. I'm just getting started. And here's the picture that she drew of herself at that time. Eventually, Diego and I got married. We traveled to America, to places like San Francisco, New York, and Detroit, meeting some of the wealthiest people in the world. Ooh, I love the mix of the old and the new. Mrs. Nelson Rockefeller. Just like in high school, some people would insult my clothing. Oh, that's so sad. People are not learning to keep their bad ideas to themselves. You can't say something nice. Don't say it at all. Look at her outfit. Does she belong in a circus? And those ugly sandals. They're called huaraches. I love these shoes. Well, that's sad. People who think and say mean things like that, how do you think they're feeling inside? Yeah, no, if you're feeling happy and joyful inside, then you're not thinking mean and unkind things because you're too busy feeling happy and joyful. That's so sad. So you're a painter? Yes, the greatest in the world. That's really what I told him. My time away made me realize that my favorite place of all was home. Back in Mexico, I embraced all the things I loved, my heritage. Every day I dressed like a fiesta. Animals. I had a parrot, a pair of turkeys, an osprey, and even pet monkeys. Oh, here we go. Remember in the beginning of the book where I saw animals? Let's go back there. I saw all these animals here, and I was wondering why there are all these animals around her. And it says right here why. It said that she loved her heritage and she loved animals. And here's a picture that she drew of herself with her pet, a pet monkey. And of course, painting. So she likes heritage, animals, and painting. Back then, women were expected to be quiet and feminine. I wasn't either of those things. I painted the way I wanted on metal, glass, and tin. I love her work. It's like a ribbon around a bomb. I also dressed the way I wanted, including wearing suits. What does that mean? It means beautiful and strong. So she does things differently than most people. But sometimes if you're the first, that's how it's got to go. In addition to painting, I became a teacher, a professor. Draw what you have in your houses. Clay jars, furniture, toys. Paint anything. Can we paint you? On the first day, that's exactly what they did. They painted me. The pain from my accident never went away. Some days it was so bad I could barely stand. Even then, I took my students on field trips. Beautiful, isn't it? Paint this. She's looking for beauty everywhere. Were those people who are making fun of her looking for beauty everywhere? No, they couldn't see the beauty right in front of them because they were too busy focused on the negative things that they had in their heart and mind. Let's go back here. Were these people focused on the beauty around them? No, they were blinded to the beauty around them because they were too busy looking at things that are different and judging them. They're really missing out on all the wonderful things there are to see and to celebrate. As my health got worse, my four most committed students, Los Fridos, came to my Casa Azul for their lessons. They painted everything they saw, and so did I. I wanted to paint, paint, paint. Eventually, I sent them out into the world to paint murals on nearby laundries and taverns. Frida taught us that art shouldn't be in palaces or just for those with money. Art is for everyone. That's right, we all can see beauty in everything. To honor my work, the gallery owner began planning my first ever one-woman show in Mexico. Here's the photographer Lola Alvarez Bravo. I was so sick, she was worried I might miss it. So they set up my bed and made me part of the exhibit. Oh my goodness, they brought her bed into the exhibit. How creative. She arrived by ambulance on a stretcher. The party was overcrowded and sweaty. People were everywhere. It was total chaos and absolutely beautiful. Look at that. I just love that. Bringing beauty and looking for beauty. That's something we all can do every day. When we're feeling down or frustrated or something's not going well, we can find a way to turn it around and look for what's beautiful. She was on a stretcher, stuck in her house, but she decided to look for what was beautiful. And said, let's bring the stretcher in, let's make it part of the show, and let's make something that's beautiful. That is so empowering. Tragedy nearly took my life, but it couldn't take my spirit. Fighting back wasn't easy, especially when people made fun of how I looked and where I was from. But I was determined to see things differently. My face, my clothes, my country, even my pain, these are the colors on my canvas. They don't look like anyone else's, and they shouldn't. That's the best part. Your picture is uniquely yours. Oh, I see some of the animals in there too. Today, Frida Kahlo is considered one of the world's greatest artists, and La Casa Azul is now the Frida Kahlo Museum, open to the public. The museum has this, the last painting she ever did, Viva la Vida, which means long live life. Her husband, Diego Rivera, eventually said she's a better painter than I am. She is proof that no one can ever define you, no matter how you look. Her hair looks like a pretzel in this one. That's not a pretzel, it's an infinity sign, something that ties us together and lives forever. Art is like life. It's rarely what it first appears. Instead of following a straight path, your life and your art will twist and turn, taking you on unexpected journeys. There goes those animals again. It's messy and bold and scary and fun, but it's all part of your picture, a magnificent self-portrait. Look in this mirror. What do you see? I see a work of art. I am Frida Kahlo, and I know that the most beautiful thing is you, just as you are. I see this easel, and I'm thinking, what could we paint on that? That's beautiful. Here's a real picture of Frida Kahlo. She says that painting completed my life. Here's her when she was 11. Oh, what a cool bow. Here's Frida with Diego Rivera. And here's Frida. She's the third from the left. And she is there with her sisters and cousins. And here is a timeline of her life. I am so thankful that you read with me today. I enjoy reading and sharing these books with you, and I hope that you will share those with others by clicking the like button. Do you know that when you do that, other people get the chance to hear the story that they might not have? So thank you for sharing that with others. And if you want to hear the next story that I come out with, don't forget to click subscribe right now so you won't miss out. Have a great day. Thank you so much.